So whatever intro you want to do, and then the eyeball is up. So that means we're connected to Glocker Realty Insurance on Facebook
That means people
and
are
YouTube.
watching.
Maybe eventually, but we are live on both of those platforms.
Excellent. All right. So, hi everybody. We are with Adrian and Jeremy of the Old Soul Stroll in Boyertown, and we're going to talk to them in just a few minutes
Make sure you turn your volume.
about the ghost tours of Boyertown that they're presently doing, and we will be right back after our intro.
This is the Cast at Glocker.
I'm going to.
All right, we're back up. We're live.
All right. You are watching the Cast At Glocker. Matt and Jeff are your hosts. And we have today with us Adrian Zapian. All right. And Jeremy Hetrick.
There you go.
Of Old Soul Stroll of Boyertown. This is the Ghost Walk and History Tour, I would call it, of Boyertown. That this is the perfect time of year, I guess, to be partaking in such a tour of
It sure
ghosts
is.
and goblins and spooky interest. So I guess let's start off by asking you, tell us about the Old Stroll of Boyertown. Just tell us about what it is that is, besides what I said already.
So,
in your own words.
Boyertown is a very interesting town. It's a very small town, but yet a very, very large in square miles. So there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of, unfortunately, tragic history, but we always like to talk about the rejuvenation of the town and how amazing after, how many years, it's just a town that really comes together through thick or thin. And we like to celebrate that. So we really just kind of wanted to put Boyertown on the map as, a historic town by doing these strolls and letting people know about the amazing history that it has.
So what could someone expect if they take the Old Soul Stroll of Boyertown?
It's a tongue twister. What could they expect? I think one of the biggest things that I hear all the time is people have lived here their whole life and there's still so much that they learned on the tour. I also enjoy people's feedback that they give me because I'm not from Boyertown. So a lot of people have stories and tales that they like to share with us. Some of the spots that we hit, they're like, oh, I remember being here when I was a kid. And one guy, we just did a tour on Monday night and he was like, oh yeah, we used to sneak back here and smoke cigarettes when we were younger. So it's kind of like a whole world of nostalgia, and just people I think are really, they get intrigued by some of the new information that they're learning.
Okay.
If you take our tours, just be prepared to have a family friendly event, where you can come and learn the history about Boyertown. Mostly history. We do have ghost tales in it. This is our first year starting it, so we're kind of new at this. We're getting a roll on everything. We're making everything a little better, but we would like the feedback so we could make it more interesting for people.
Cool. Yeah, I actually took the tour. My family, with my daughter's 10, my son's 12, and my wife and I and our friends took the tour with you, and it was great. Everybody loved it. My kids loved it. My friends loved it. I loved it. So you did a great job, and lots of history, and we had a couple of history buffs in the group, so they enjoyed that. But the ghost tales were good as well.
Yeah, I definitely love when the kids are involved. They get really excited to take pictures and see if they, can find any ghosts or anything. But two, it's also important. Like, it is a really neat town, and growing up and not knowing like why the town is the way that it is, I think that they actually get a little bit more appreciation for it too.
Right. Absolutely. So let's talk about if somebody wanted to take this tour, when could they take it?
So we run the tours every Saturday night. They start at 6:30 at the Boyertown Historical Society. I actually start talking around 6:45. There's a little museum in there, so you can come in, tour the museum a little bit, and then we get going. And it generally, depending on the group size and how many people ask questions, we're done around 8:30. So you can go online to Boyertown Historical Society, and the tickets are $8.
And you can that's boyertownhistory.org.
Yes, sorry.
Yep, that's okay.
Boyertownhistory.org. Click on Old Soul Stroll, and then you go down. We are getting sold out, so there's only 2 available dates as of right now. The rest are, they're sold out. We are skipping the night of the Halloween parade because there's no way we could do the tour.
That would be impossible.
The stroll through Oktoberfest and Pickfest, and there was a lot going on in the town, and people were everywhere, and it was actually a lot of fun, but it was definitely a challenge.
The Halloween parade would be too
so
crazy.
we're just gonna go and enjoy the parade and take a Saturday night off.
Yeah,
we've been doing
you
this
deserve it.
Yeah, since June 18th is when we started. So we've been doing this all summer long.
In the heat.
The heat. It was hot.
It was brutal.
And now we're bundling up in sweatshirts.
Yeah.
So it's actually more comfortable for me because, walking and talking and trying to pep everybody up, it gets tiring.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm enjoying this weather much more.
It's a lot of energy when you're talking and walking and trying to keep your eye on what people are doing and trying to like key into the people who are most engaged so you can start getting that interaction going and everything.
Let me tell you, walking backwards on Boyertown sidewalks, I've become a little acrobatic.
Have you?
Now,
Yeah.
Boyertown does not have the greatest sidewalk.
No,
but
yeah,
we actually like rerouted because of the one portion of the sidewalk. He was actually in a motorcycle accident early in the spring, so like we were pushing him through in a wheelchair, and it was not.
It was not wheelchair access.
Not at all. So I actually next year would like to somehow, speaking of handicap accessibility, like try next year to be able to get, because we actually did have someone else come on the tour in a wheelchair, and he actually like kind of carried him around.
I piggybacked this guy, and I had no clue who he was. And he had to use the bathroom, so I took him through the whole historical society in a piggyback.
Right.
So we want to try to find like a route that we can do it, or even like maybe rent like a big golf cart and take some people that really like to do the tour. Like,
cool.
I mean, a horse and buggy would be really cool, but
now you're like upping the expense a little bit too,
right?
right?
A little bit with the horse.
Here's
if
what I
anybody
did.
wants to donate a horse and buggy to us.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe you get a little help from someone. Here's what I did. I put a link
Look
to
the Lancaster paper.
What's that?
The Lancaster paper maybe has horse and buggies for sale. Lancaster.
Oh! I'm sorry. I didn't know where you were going, man. All right.
I saw where you were going.
Yeah.
Here's what I did for people. I put up a link to boyertownhistory.org. That's the Boyertown Area Historical Society. That link is in the chat. I also put their webpage up on the screen. That's where you're going to want to go to get the tickets for the Old Soul Stroll. I was on the website earlier today, and just like they said, a couple of the strolls are already booked up. So if you want to do this, you should, up, right? Yeah. If you're interested in doing this, you should.
November 5th and November 12th are the next.
They're still open, right? So head on over to the Historical Society website and get your ticket now, because it's seriously
sold out.
You don't want to wait because it's exciting.
Well, clearly it's a popular thing because the strolls are booking up.
Yeah.
So I just want to let people know that. And you can either write down the website, or like I said, I put it in the chat, and you can go back after the show and click on the link. It'll take you.
Yeah, and it's actually pinned at the top of our Facebook page too. So
you have a Facebook page?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what I'm going to do then is I'll log on to Facebook, and I'll start putting up some links to their Facebook page in the chat too.
Good thing you're techie, because I wouldn't know how to do
I'm not a techie. I
Would
just
you
know
call
how to
him
do it.
techie? I like that
Matt,
word.
you might be becoming a techie.
Maybe a
Yeah.
little
Still
bit.
little
really
bit.
good over here.
The other thing I want to remind people, because we do have people watching, this is an interactive show. If you have a question or a comment, please put that up into the chat so that we can see it. I'll
Yeah,
put the
ask
questions
away.
up on the screen and we'll address whatever questions we can. If we can't answer them on the show, we'll get you an answer later on. But it
Yeah.
is an interactive show. It does make the show much more interesting and engaging if you let us know that you're out there watching and ask a question or two. Remember, there's no stupid questions.
No, we like questions.
Just
We like
stupid answers.
That definitely happens.
You know?
Okay, so tickets to the line $8. I want to emphasize that $8 is very,
We
very
wanted
cheap.
to make sure that it was affordable for families, especially with, COVID ramping all the prices of everything else up. We wanted to make sure that it was,
Affordable.
we have a family and, we know how expensive it can get just to do something as a family. So we wanted it to, be
Affordable.
affordable
Yeah,
for everyone.
for everyone,
Yeah,
yeah.
affordable is the word. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are volunteers for the Historical Society. So ultimately we just, if anybody is gracious enough to give us tips or donations, we certainly like that. We also have t-shirts for sale. This is a sweatshirt.
Swag.
We don't have sweatshirt swag, but this is something that we designed and
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, you got to buy this because, this is drawn from me and I may be famous one day. And then you'll have a sweatshirt with my name on it.
There you go.
So I'm not a drawer, so I
Can you hold that up to the
Sure.
camera a little bit better there? All right, perfect.
So I said to him, I was like, this is what I want. And I kind of like stick figure drew it out. And then he came up with it. So it's actually, hold that side for me.
Yes, ma'am.
So up a little bit. So this is obviously in honor of the casket company.
Awesome. It's a casket.
Right.
people who can't
Inside is the twin turrets.
Nice.
And then this is the clock tower up at
For the nose.
church. And then obviously the railroad. So
And the fire is from
for the Opera House.
the Opera House fire.
Yep.
Man, that brings everything together.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So
He's
Very
a great
cool.
designer.
every
Yes, throw it up
year
for
we
it.
hope
Uh-huh.
to have a new design. We actually wanted to.
And then you had the simple, more simple
Yeah.
design here.
Yep.
The OSSC, which is very, I think it's cool logo you got there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So every year we actually want to do like an art contest. So if any local artists want to come up with a drawing for us for the next upcoming year, that we print the shirts, then they'll win. I don't know. I think it's like 10 tickets, a couple, swag to go home with. We also got stickers made up, which I actually have for each of you guys. And one
Oh,
for
thank you.
Jennifer. So we would like to do that. If anybody over the winter wants to work on coming up with our next design, we're going to have like a contest entry details coming up.
Cool.
Once we're done everything, there's
That's
a
like your
lot of-
winter break.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Excitement. Yeah.
So we know there's so many cool artists. We're actually going to hopefully team up with Studio B and have them spread the word as well.
That'd be perfect. Yeah.
Some high school students that want to draw something really neat and have it printed on a t-shirt. I mean, who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
Can I
remember-
say something about the print when you draw it though? You got to have regular lines. You can't have shading and stuff because you can't print that on the shirt.
Right.
It'll be in the entry.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
I'll have all that covered.
Okay.
And I just put your other logo up over the screen so people can see that right now as we're talking
Awesome.
for a few
Thank you
seconds.
so much.
We do have a question coming in, and I think this is probably something we should address based on the conversation that we were having before the show. It seems like it's a good question because we are trying to be family friendly, right? But we also have to be mindful of how old the participants are.
Yeah,
Susan
so-
Hart is asking about what about kids under the age of 2?
Oh, Sue.
Yeah.
Hi, Sue. That's a friend of mine. So the thing about it is we recommend 10 and older. One, because sometimes younger children aren't really interested, so they get really bored, and then they're kind of a distraction to other people. So we just try to respect that everyone is trying to listen and learn at the same time. And we've had challenges with that in the past, and it's actually going to be a new rule, I guess. Kids 10 and under, it's not recommended.
Not recommended.
It's not necessarily scary. We don't really say anything scary. Everything that we talk about is true. Unfortunately, it has tragedy to it, but I wouldn't say that it's scary.
No, my kids were fine with it.
Yeah.
They're 10
So-
and 12. And I think, it's precisely for that reason.
Mhm.
It's just that the kids would not get into it and would become a distraction. So
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea.
Well,
And let's
because
be
there's-
honest too, like based on what we heard, your kid might go off and get themselves in trouble. Like
Yeah,
there's
that's the other thing is
you don't want your bored kid
we
causing
are-
damage.
exactly. So we're like close to the road. We're around like a lot of things that could get damaged, and we just don't want to have that
Yeah.
type of liability. Like most of the stops are along a very busy street, so
Yeah.
Well, you see it when you were on a tour.
Yeah.
I had to stand directly on the curb, farther out than anybody else, so I would get hit or stop the car before any of the
Right.
people
let's
on
not
the.
scare people.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
People
yeah.
get hit by
It
a
was so
car.
close on the streets.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You know what I mean? A little kid just steps
We just
off.
like to
and-
be very precautious.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
just on my tour, just to give the audience insight, there was younger kids that were
right.
too young for the tour, and they were definitely a distraction, and they were definitely shouldn't have been there. Yeah, and it
we
distracted you. You had to kind of babysit them. And
And trust me, I have 3 kids, so I know what it's like when you want to go do things, but you have kids, and you can't always get a sitter. But at the same time, like I always try to respect other people that are also paying to be somewhere,
Right.
not to upset their evening either.
Yeah.
So
We have another question coming in from
Yeah.
Jill Kendra Diffenderfer. How many people participate in the tour at one time? How many people do you
so
take at
it's
once?
up to 20 people. Any more than that can become a little hazardous trying to cross the street. One of the things that we would like to offer is if someone has a large group, like you had a really big group, and I was like, oh my gosh, like there's 8 tickets in this one group. That's great. We would like to eventually, probably going into next year, offer like a different evening for larger groups. So if people want to do group sales,
if they wanted their own
right.
personal
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah, we've
Yes.
done a couple personal tours just because of like not everybody's available on a Saturday evening. So we've done tours different evenings for people. It's just, as long as everyone's schedule matches up. So going forward into the 2023 season, we're definitely going to have that as an offer.
And so in that regard, if you want to reach out to Old Soul Stroll, I put
just
their
email us.
Yeah, I put the email up on the screen. It's oldsoulstroll@gmail.com. I'll also throw that up in the chat. So it sounds to me like if you reach out to them and want to do some type of private tour, you can make arrangements.
Yep,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah, the private tours we ask, there's at least 10 people just so it's, beneficial. So you could do anywhere from 10 to 20 really in that tour. And if you don't have 10, you just pay for 10. So,
Right.
it just kind of works out. We try to make it, it's a fun stroll to do. So we want to try to work with people because we know like some people work every Saturday night. If you work in the restaurant industry or anything, it's hard to do something like that.
Yeah.
So we've done them on weeknights. We've done them during the day. We've done them at different times.
So here's a question that I thought of. What got you guys into this? Like, what was it? A love of history, or what made you decide to start getting this research done? Because researching for historical programs is not easy. You know what I mean?
man.
Like
Hours and
hours
hours.
of work and cross-referencing and making sure that you got everything right. So
That was
And
all
when
her. Let
you-
me tell you that.
When you
'Cause,
have like OCD, like I do with certain things, you cross-reference is not even like enough for me.
right.
So I moved, I'm not from Boyertown. Don't boo me. I always say that. But when I came to this town, I absolutely fell in love with it. I fell in love with like the buildings and then I started learning some of the history and it really intrigued me. So I decided, let me research some of this history. And then I found out, unfortunately, that a lot of that history was wrong. So then
Okay.
it gave me like the ambition to like
correct.
find answers. I was kind of like like an escape room at that point for me. I was like,
Okay.
I was just like so intrigued. Like I need to find out what happened to this person.
Right.
Like just to honorably respect
Mhm.
that how they passed away.
Right.
So that kind of like is what started it. And then it just kind of got the ball rolling and I'm like, wow, like I was just fascinated. I joined the Historical Society. I was going every Wednesday and I was doing my research and I was like, people say all the time how, they really enjoy doing the tours in the past. Margaret Harner, I always say that she was like the OG of Boyertown ghost hunting and
She's a
Boyertown
great
stories.
person.
And she has since retired and she still is a very big part of the Boyertown Historical Society. But you know, a lot of people really enjoyed her tours, and we wanted to like honor that for her as well, because she's done years and years. I mean, that's what she was a history teacher. So
Right.
she is like brilliant minded. And I guess a few other people had approached her about doing it, and she was like, no. And I said, Margaret, I want to do this because I want to keep the stories of Boyertown alive. Like, I want to keep the truth behind the stories.
Right.
And she was like, yep, let's do this
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
So honestly, like,
Does she? Do you keep in touch with her? Like to
I see her, Margaret, often. Like I try to get to the Historic Society every Wednesday. A lot of times she's there. Sometimes she opens the Historical Society for us. A board member from the society opens every Saturday night for us, and sometimes she's there. So yeah, I mean, and she will always be like, "Oh, did I tell you about this story?" You know, and then she'll give me a new story, or she'll tell me the same story 3 times, but you know, something new has been added to it. And honestly, like, I think it's neat that she's like the person that if somebody needs research done, they're like, Margaret, what is this about? And she figures it out. And luckily I have been blessed with, you know, her giving me some of that knowledge. And a lot of the research I've just done, like just literally going through microfilm for hours upon hours at the Historical Society. And books, I mean, Boyertown has so many books written about it, and you're like, how does this tiny little town have so many books? And there's a lot. Charlie Adams, I met with him as well and talked to him about his book and some of the stories that he was told, and a lot of the stories that he was told that didn't even go into his book. So that's been really interesting too, like just sitting and talking with him.
Yeah, he has talked to so many people in the area.
Yeah.
Is this the ghost tours guy? The ghost stories guy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's what I respect about when we were talking before the show, that's one of the things that I respect is people that stay true to the actual history. Because in my mind, the real history is so much more interesting than some made up story. Right?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
real life is super interesting. And I like the fact that you guys are being respectful of the real history.
So, you know, growing up, like I kind of have an old soul. Like I was around my grandparents a lot growing up, and all the stories that I would hear from them, like growing up through the Depression and just, you know, really like them living a struggle, you know, and getting through it and having these stories to tell. And even when I was in school, like I really wasn't a very good student at all. I wish I paid attention more. I'm sure a lot of us say that now. You know, I wish I learned it when it was free.
Hear this, kids?
So for me, like just going through all this, it's like such a step back in time. Like it's almost, even though it's a different town, like I can almost like imagine like the things that my grandfather used to tell me growing up and just putting it into play now, you know? So for me, it's just kind of like, you know, you weren't there, but like the puzzle's laid out, you just kind of have to put it together. And it's really kind of like very mysterious. Like, you know, just trying to, you know, for instance, there was a maid that had killed herself when she was she lives at the Twin Terrace, but at the time it was owned by Mr. Boyer. And there was just no mystery. Like there's no answer to why she did this. She didn't even know. There was nothing. And
there's lots of mystery.
And I like have been going through books and everything, just trying to find out more information. And it's just that chase of like, you know, how do you pin this together? And then one night I was up really late and I was researching and I got so excited. And I messaged Rachel. She's the president of the Historical Society, also owner of the Peppermint Stick. And I'm like, Rachel, I think I figured something out. And I was so excited. And her and I were going back and forth. And I was almost like ready to contact one of the other people in the Historical Society. And I was like, no, it's too late. And then the next morning we found out that we were close, but no cigar, you know what I mean? So it was kind of neat, just like still having someone else to be like excited to, you know, when there's been such a mystery that nobody has completed. I thought that I like cracked the code.
Yeah.
I didn't, unfortunately.
You will crack it someday, maybe.
I don't know. There's like.
What I think is funny is that people live in small towns like these and they don't know what has happened in their towns. You know what I mean? They lived here their whole lives. Like I lived around this area my whole life and I didn't know anything about this until she did the research. And then it's like, wow, this happened here. Wow, this happened here. And I'm walking by this and there's a reason why this is there. And it's just intriguing, you know, everything comes together and it's working out.
Yeah. So if you want to learn about your town in an interesting and fun way, take the stroll, take the tour. Yeah.
And, I do want to iterate, like, I'm more of the history person. He is more of like the ghosty person. So we definitely focus more on the history because that's what it is. Now, everybody, there's a lot of people that say like, oh, I want to hear about the haunted stuff. I want to hear about the haunted stuff. And, it's really neat. And it really depends on if that's part of your, if you like ghosts and ghost stories and ghost tales or not. Like it or not, if you are sensitive to ghosts, they're gonna appear. So you guys, we were just talking about Durangos and the stories in Durangos.
Our 100% charged battery that ran down in like 15 minutes.
So
you mean stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
One of the buildings that we went into, we had an investigator, and we went in, and he had a charged battery, and we went in, and it drained all the power. Like we couldn't even really do the investigation because nothing was working.
Yeah, right.
We just got to do it with our eyes.
Yeah.
So it is fascinating also too. Again, I always say I'm the history person. He's more the ghosty person. And we definitely want to do more investigations around town. So we have a lot of equipment, a lot of very expensive equipment that we would like to, earn some money back on. But we do, for the businesses in the area, if we can use any tales in our stroll, we will come and investigate your building for free. There are people that say, I think my house is haunted. And we're like, okay, like we do it like residential investigations. We do charge for it. And the unfortunate thing is we always have to do them late at night because that's usually the best time.
The ghosty time. Right? I told my kids the ghosts only come out at night.
Yeah. Like the witching hours, like 3 a.m. We don't want to be there at 3 a.m., but the later, the better. Mm-hmm. And just hit us up if you want some answers. And
if someone contacts you and says, we do want you to investigate, we think we have a ghost or something, but we don't want anybody to know about it, you would do that too.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of businesses that don't want investigations done because of either religious beliefs or they're just freaked out. They're like, yeah, we know there's stuff here. We just don't want to know anymore. We don't want
anything stirred up.
Exactly. So we've definitely respected that. I am 100% like on board knowing that it's not for everyone, which is why, like I said, we definitely like focus more on the history. Right. There are some ghost tales, and all of those ghost tales has been verified.
Yes, I've ghost hunted through town, and I've had experiences, and I have pictures in our gift shop back at our
at the end of the tour.
End of the tour, mm-hmm. And there's some ghosts in Boyertown if you believe in that.
Now the nice thing is there hasn't ever been anything like nasty.
I've never felt that.
We don't ever feel anything is like here
threatening.
Yeah, nothing at all.
I did feel something like that in a Kubi hole at the Historical Society when I went in there, and I got something told me to get out of there right away. And I jumped out right away. But then I was like, Jeremy, face your fear, and I ran right back in there. And then I started playing a game of jacks with a little kid up there because they said there's a little kid up there. So I started playing a game with him, and he came and sat right next to me. We have the apparition on our camera. We have pictures of it to prove it. It's pretty exciting.
Wow. Yeah. Cool. Crazy.
Yeah,
Boyertown.
Is there any questions from?
There's one more question. It's from Gypsy Chris, and she'd like to know where Adrienne is from because you said you weren't from Boyertown, so she's trying to find out where you are.
She's going to do her own investigation.
I'm actually from the Plymouth Meeting area. I went to Plymouth White Marsh High School. I also went to Upper Marion for a little bit, so I'm from like Conshohocken, Plymouth Meeting, Bridgeport, that area down there.
And Jeremy, you said you're from Pottstown, right?
Yes.
You're a Pottstown guy?
Yes.
All right, me
All
too.
Right.
Yeah.
Round it out.
I'm the only Boyertown guy.
You're the only Boyertown guy here.
So, years ago, a lot of people, like I have a couple businesses in Boyertown, and at first I was in
which we will definitely get to.
And then people used to say, like, don't go to Boyertown. Like, they don't like outsiders. And I was, like, afraid of Boyertown. Like, I came to Zerns, and that was it. Like, I was like, oh, what are they going to do, And then when I decided to relocate and I started my business here, I have a quick funny story. We were doing, like, renovations in the business, and I was setting my kid up to the trash can to throw trash out. And I didn't know anything about Boyertown other than, like, Zerns was right here. So she came back and she was like pale. I'm like, what is wrong with you? She's like, I think I just saw a ghost. I'm like, get the heck out of here. I'm like, go bring the trash up. Like, I thought she was trying to get out of like chores, you know? And then several years later, it happened to her again. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then when I started learning more about Boyertown and the Opera House and all that stuff, I was like, oh my gosh, she did see a ghost on the train because we've seen them too now, you know?
Yeah.
So ultimately, I'm like, oh, yeah, she definitely did.
Yeah. Cool.
So she doesn't.
So
she
let's
doesn't bring
get
trash
into
up
that
anymore.
though. What are the other businesses that you have?
Yeah.
Now I'm curious about that.
So I have a hair salon. I've been in Boyertown for 6 years. My other business I had in Pottsgrove for 12 years. So
What's
18
your
years. Yeah.
What's your
And
hair
what's-
salon?
Revamped hair salon. It's right at the train tracks where Donnie Ellickson's property is for Taekwondo. And I also have it's called Vintage Vixen. It's a photo studio.
I did not know about that.
Yes.
What's it called?
Vintage Vixen.
Vintage Vixen.
Mhm.
And what? It's a photography studio, but what kind of photography?
It actually is a boudoir photo studio.
Oh yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, there you go. You got good attention now.
Yeah.
Do we have pictures to put up, Matt?
For
I'm just
that, we
kidding.
do
I'm
not.
kidding.
We do not.
Yeah. Family friendly, remember?
She takes the pictures and she gives them to whoever buys the thing, the package, and then she erases all the pictures because she doesn't
Yeah,
want the pictures
it's
to
a
get
very
out.
private.
It's private
Sure.
for you. You know what I mean? So you don't have to ever worry about your pictures being out there.
Mhm.
I'm going to put a link up to both of those other businesses
Well,
in
thank you very
the
much.
in the chat. So there's a link to your hair salon and then also a link to Vintage Vixen
Awesome.
Studio.
Thanks.
That was
So-
quick, Matt. You are a
I
tech.
know
Yeah,
he is.
you
I'm
are.
sure.
super quick. dude.
I'm getting better. But I think it's important that people know that these are local people. These are local businesses.
Yeah,
And this is the whole purpose of our show is to support local businesses.
So I actually wanted to start off and say thank you guys for doing this because I also run the Visit Boyertown PA Facebook page, which
I'll
is
put that up.
all about. Sorry,
It's
She's
all
a
right.
busy
No, no,
person.
it's
Just put Matt
all
to work.
about like keeping community a community.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
really, like a lot of times when there is a small community, everybody just assumes everybody knows what's going on, and that's not the case. And like now with social media, we kind of have that ability to really like spread the good news. So the thing about Boyertown is there's so many different committees and there's so many things going on that there's not like one central location. So you have like the BMBA and they really focus on like the businesses, and then you have just different divisions throughout the town, but they have what they focus on, where I with Visit Boyertown PA try to like bring everything together.
So everybody
So
sees
it's
it on
things
one
about
page.
the railroad, there's things about the businesses, there's things about even like Bash High School when they have car washes. I try to share that, so it's kind of like a central hub for everyone to be able to go to.
I will check that out because
You didn't know about it,
I did not.
right? So
and I don't know if you know or not, but I have a blog that I do each week, which has all the events that happen in and around Boyertown. It's called What's Going Down in Boyertown.
No, see, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. So
So I think we have to connect, and
yeah,
we'll
definitely.
cool.
So yeah, I just try to like keep everything centralized a little bit because, well, again, I didn't know anything about this town. I didn't know of all the cool things, and then
And there are so many cool things in
there's
Boyertown.
so many cool
Yeah,
things.
bless
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Bless you. So as far as like events, we just had Pick Fest, and that was a really cool event.
Yeah.
Oktoberfest, and coming up is the Halloween parade. I remember like driving through town, and again didn't know anything, and I'm like, why are there couches on the sidewalk?
Yeah, right.
And
We
then
take
as I left work, this was like on a Thursday. I didn't even know about the parade. And then it was like Friday, and there was like more and more like lawn ornaments on people's sidewalks. And then it was Saturday, and I'm like, people have like their yards,
they take-
everything's
yeah.
roped off. And I'm
They
like,
take
They
this
take it serious.
It's
It's
no
the
joke.
Halloween parade is
yeah.
their thing.
So just a little history about the Boyertown Halloween parade.
Thanksgiving? Nope. Halloween?
Parade,
Yeah.
When I was doing research, and I was literally like, the newspaper started in 1868.
Okay.
Which was all in German, so I didn't understand any of that. So I scrolled pretty quickly through the microfilm. But like, there are things about the Boyertown Halloween parade in newspapers dating back to the late 1800s.
Really?
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty
That's
amazing.
pretty amazing.
That's a
And
lot of
actually,
history.
Yeah.
when I was like, well, who paraded around Boyertown then. It was actually all the firehouses. So it was kind of a way for people to originally honor. That's why there's always fire trucks at parades, because it was a way for people to honor and respect the firefighters for there's not like a, there's not a firefighter parade. Right. So it was kind of a way for people to really honor and respect them, because they were the first responders back then.
And for people that are watching, if you've never been to Boyertown parade, Halloween parade, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours long.
Stay overnight, because you won't find any parking.
I recommend staying in the Twin Terrace if you like ghosts.
Definitely.
Yeah. But I mean, they had to make a rule years back that
the ordinance that no longer can you put couches on the sidewalk. You could only do it. It was, I think it even says
not only that, but there's a time when you can start putting your couches on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I think it's like 8 a.m. on Friday.
Because otherwise they say they're going to take them. I don't know if they do or not.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think they do, but
because people were putting them like a week ahead of time.
I can't even park and get out of your car.
Yeah, so I mean, it's always a good time.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
You ever been to one, Matt?
No, I've never been to the Boyertown parade, because I'm from Pottstown and we had a parade.
It's always on a different day.
Is it?
Yeah,
I never came up here, so when I was younger. Now things have changed in Boyertown, right? Boyertown is making progress and becoming a progressive town. But when I was growing up,
say that too loud,
I was told, "Don't go to Boyertown." Like the same thing, like don't go up there.
It was a thing.
So I never really did. And of course,
Zern's probably right. Like Zern's
I did go to
like
Zern's.
the city limit.
We went to Zern's. We went to the State Theater to watch movies.
Oh, yeah,
you stayed on the outside.
Yeah, and that was about it. And now that I'm older, obviously I work here. I spend more time. But when I was younger, I was very much more Pottstown centric. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Pottstown has good Halloween parades.
They do. I'll just have
not
to
as good.
someday.
It's about
maybe this year.
It's about 30% of what Boyertown's is.
Is it?
Okay.
All right. Well, this year, if I am not busy, otherwise. I'm coming.
I'm
coming.
You know, you can hang out with us. I'll get my couch out there, so make sure we have a spot.
That's awesome.
Oh,
That's awesome. All right, Jeff. It's about we're like yeah. Go ahead. I was going to introduce Jeff Knows Boyertown.
Yeah.
Or do we have something else to do?
I want to get into Adrian's the hair salon, because we didn't really get into that at all.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm going to give her a little bit a minute to talk about that.
So I'm a born and bred hairstylist. I knew at the age of 5 I wanted to do hair, and
it's so pretty.
So it's all I know, really. And so all these other things just kind of came about because I am never still. So I've been doing hair. I worked in the salon when I was 13. I was licensed at 17, and I opened my salon at 23.
Did your mom own a salon or something like that? No. So what were you doing in the salon at 13? Just like
I worked out? No, I was shampooing. I was working, sweeping floors, folding towels. Hustling. Yep. So I've been working for a long time. Yeah. I'm not anywhere close to being able to retire. I was just kind of like, we were talking about this a little bit last night. Like, I thought, it'd be nice. I hear my friends have jobs with PTO time and, paid vacations and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, that would be nice. I'm like, I don't know where to begin. This is what I've done my entire life. So I don't think I could ever not do hair. It's just.
So, but you do more than hair there, correct? Like, is there more than hair?
Yeah.
I thought I was looking at your. No, I thought there was other options.
I do pedicures, but I don't really advertise that I do pedicures. I do them for my guests from my other salon. We had a full day spa. So I just do them for that. But I mostly do hair.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah, I don't.
I saw a list of options, but I didn't.
Oh, it was all hair stuff.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I just
you just did.
It's there's a list here.
There's a list.
Put that in your brain.
Yeah.
And that's far
it's
as
mostly I do pedicures, but mostly for just my existing clients.
Do you have other people working for you, or is it just
I do not. I used to. So my other salon I had for 12 years, and I had 11 staff members, and it was great, and it kind of just got to the point where I was in a place in life where I couldn't manage anymore. So I'm just not good at managing people. And I probably wasn't a very good leader to them. Even though I don't know, it just wasn't working out for me, and I decided to. Everybody had like warning, like a 6 to 8 month warning, and we all parted ways. And I still love all my previous staff members, and I really enjoy working by myself. People say, "Don't you get lonely?" I'm like, "No, I always have clients." Like,
you're always
I'm always
there's someone
busy.
there, right?
And you have your dog.
Yeah, my dog's always there too. So
Separation
yeah, I mean, I've been
anxiety.
doing that. Like I said, I opened the salon when I was 23. It's,
it's what you do.
It's what I do.
Yeah. So so the tour ends at your salon,
The tour ends at the salon,
and so I got to look at it, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place. It's it's a nice building, nice atmosphere. So
What's the address?
That's tricky.
Okay.
So the address is 119 East Philadelphia Avenue.
Okay.
However, if you're on Philadelphia Avenue, you can't even see my business.
Okay.
So years ago, the post office, when they were setting up PO boxes, the spot that I'm in was one address.
Okay.
So as it grew and parts of the building were pieced out, it has a Philadelphia street address, except for it should be really Washington Street. So,
yeah, because it's way in the back.
and we're now
gotcha.
a one-way. So
Orioles.
Elixon's Taekwondo, because of their drop-off and pickup, they made it a one-way, which was really smart because cars were colliding in, like in the parking lot. So if you actually come in off of Washington Street across from the Orioles Club, I have parking spaces right there. You don't have to try to find parking through town, and you can come right in.
Cool.
I am by appointment only. I don't take walk-ins just because I generally don't have time. So I always like to point that out because, people are like, "Oh, you can't cut my hair."
Because you're not just sitting in there waiting.
No, like
for somebody
usually
to
I'm booked up. Usually I'm booked up for three to 4 weeks in advance.
Okay.
So I really just don't have time to do those.
And that says a lot for you and your business. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting a shout out to Kim Kirshner saying
hey,
she's
Kim.
saying she's an excellent stylist.
Oh,
so you're
thanks, Kim.
getting a good shout out. I did put a link to your website for your salon up in the chat, and I just had that up on the screen for a few
He
seconds
knows what
too.
he's doing.
He does.
He's doing good.
Thanks. I want to thank people too for making their comments. We did have some people asking questions and putting comments up in the chat. That helps us out. The other way you can help us is hit that like button. And then if you're so inclined, share the show to your newsfeed.
Yeah.
You should hit the like button because I'm here.
That's right.
Look at the smile.
Hit the heart button for
Now,
Jeremy.
before we get into what's going down in Boyertown, I just wanted to give you the opportunity. Is there any specific ghost story you want to tell the audience while they're watching?
I don't mean to put you on the spot. I don't want to be a spoil. I don't want to spoil.
Yeah, I don't want you to spoil anything from the tour, of course, but I don't know if there was something that you heard that's not on the tour.
We did go to Penhurst.
Okay.
And
Can we tell it a non-Boyertown?
Of course.
We're going to get booed for that?
No.
Okay.
No.
We went to Penhurst. We did the overnight. We did 10 to 3, and we went in there with our ghost equipment, brand new ghost equipment, and we captured some things. There was a kid in the music room. So we took a toy, which was a little cat toy, and we turned it on. And the only way to make the cat toy go off, blink, is if you move the cat toy.
Yeah, like one of those things that the cats hit around and lights up. Then,
we're in the music room. She had brought a little.
I had brought a
show and tell
music box, an old.
Yes.
A wind-up music box.
So
well, that's creepy. Why would you do that?
It worked.
I'm over there doing the music in the music room, and the apparition sat on the thing across.
And your camera's picking this up.
Yes.
That's
She's at the she's behind the camera. I'm in front of the camera.
Okay.
And she asked the spirit to move the cat toy to make it go off, and on camera, it goes off. And his arm
right after you asked,
down,
or
the arm reaches down like this and
Yeah.
go like that. You know what I mean?
You could actually see it.
Yeah, you could actually see it right on the camera.
That's pretty spooky.
Yeah, I like being behind the camera because I don't want any
interaction. Right.
bad
So
things to
I
happen.
was in a complete black room in Penhurst, and I just had my tape recorder in there that I just got from a friend, and I don't know how to use it right, but I can record it and listen to what I recorded, and I heard footsteps loud as day and foot shuffling right next to me. It sounded like
And there
it
was no
great,
one around.
and there was no one around but us.
Did you hear? So wait, you heard it like through your ears or from
No,
the
I heard
recorded
it.
equipment?
Yeah.
I heard it through the equipment,
Mhm.
and it was loud, plain as day, but I can't find it because I don't know how to use the recorder to go back because I
We'll find
retaped and
it.
retaped
It's
and
on there
retaped.
somewhere.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So I haven't listened to it again, but it's definitely on there.
It's like taping over the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
They might,
Interesting.
Facebook might just
No,
cut us out for
No.
saying Super Bowl.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. I was just listening and I had my mic muted, so I have to turn my mic back on.
Oh, okay.
So this is just a little glimpse of what is going to be happening on the tour. So they have primarily history with a little bit of some of the tragedy and what some people might consider ghost stories,
I think that you put that perfectly.
right?
Yes, you
But
did.
the emphasis is on history,
Mhm.
real verifiable history here in Boyertown.
Rich history.
Yeah, tons.
Yes.
And we've talked to the people at the Historical Society before. We've talked to the people at the Car Museum. We've been on the train. There's a lot of really cool historical stuff to do here in Boyertown. So the
Yeah.
people in Boyertown really have a lot of treasures in their town.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, I thought I knew a lot about town, but they taught me some interesting stuff. Yeah. I look at buildings differently and some other things differently
after
the
the
So
tour.
you learn about how many speakeasies were in Boyertown.
Yeah.
How many brothels were in Boyertown.
We saw
there?
a speakeasy.
You
Yeah, we saw.
there.
Where was that?
Bridges Place.
At Bridges Place. Yeah, there's a speakeasy in the basement. Boyertown Historical Society. That's where you want to go to get your tickets for the Old Soul Stroll. You got to go now if you're thinking about doing it, because the show or the strolls sell out quickly. There's only a couple of left. Go to the Boyertown Historical Society. That's boyertownhistory.org and book your tickets now for the Old Soul Stroll.
Yeah, I think there's literally like 15 tickets available.
All right. So if everybody who watched buys a ticket, you're sold out.
Right.
If I get daring enough and I want to trek into the cold and anybody else wants to, we can add some. However, we kind of have we haven't had a Saturday off in a long time, other than a few weeks ago when it rained. So
Well, I had a Saturday off because I was in a wheelchair. So
Right,
that's
But not for good reasons.
That's hardly relaxing.
Honestly, he was supposed to be the tour guide.
Yes.
Because he's loud.
and I'm happy, and I'm, you know what I mean?
It worked out.
upbeat
It worked out the right way, though, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
And don't forget to reach out to them if you want to try to book a private tour. They also do that.
Yeah,
and I'm going to put their email address up. I just wanted to make sure that people understood that for the Old Soul Stroll, you can go to Boyertown Historical Society. If you want to book a private tour, you can reach out to them directly through email.
Perfect.
And we will ghost hunt your house if you want us to.
There you go.
All right. So if you want to know what's going down in Boyertown, you can go to my website, jeffknowsboyertown.com, and check out my blog, What's Going Down in Boyertown. That's an event blog that I put out weekly every Thursday. You can subscribe. It can get sent right to your email.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
How much does it cost to subscribe?
It's absolutely FREE free.
free.
We have too many E's. I'm not sure.
Free.
Yeah, you did say
Free.
You didn't have to count.
Yeah,
It's
that's
free.
I'm from Pottstown. I rarely know how to count, but I got it. I can count 5.
But yeah, it's free. Free
Okay.
to subscribe. And I'm not going to call you and say,
Are you
hey,
going to
you wanna list your
spam
house?
everybody?
No.
No spam.
These are
It's
important questions.
They
Thank you
are.
for asking them.
I just want to clear them up. for
People get worried. They're
They
like,
do.
well, I'm going to put my email address in, but that's it. I don't
That's
even
so
see
that
it.
you can send them the material that they're
Right.
interested in.
And it just goes through the computer world. I don't even see it.
Right.
I don't know their
It just
email
does its
address.
thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So anyway, there's so much stuff going on.
No, it's crazy.
And you guys can jump in if you'd like. But I think October, fall, I think it's just like a crazy time of year.
It's the fest season.
Every-
There's
It's
all
Because
there's,
of the
always.
parade.
well,
I'm telling you,
yeah.
everybody gets together and gets hyped
There's-
up. They do all their little things.
It's
And then
I
it's
said,
like,
bam!
boom,
it's pregame.
time to eat Thanksgiving dinner.
Pre-game.
It just skips right over.
Well, there's still a lot going up at Free Cons for the
Yeah,
Orchard, and there's actually the Colbrookdale Railroad's doing a they can't call it Harry Potter, but it's basically for drawing Harry Potter fans.
Yes.
Adults only, actually. I believe that's.
I didn't know it was adults only.
I'm pretty sure it's
Oh,
adults
yeah?
only.
Okay.
That's going on soon too. So
That's this
even
weekend.
though
Yep.
even though we have the parade coming up and we just had Pickfest, it doesn't mean they're the only. There are other events every weekend. Stellar House Gift Shop this weekend. It's her anniversary event.
1 year
she's having a
anniversary,
big
yeah.
sale. There's a lot of cool things going on, and every Friday night, Peppermint Stick is doing Friday night Fright Night. So
Yes.
you can go in there. I think she's open till 8 every Friday night
Yes.
during
40.
October.
I mean 11 to 8. I think so.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fun stuff for all different ages going on.
That was perfectly said. I don't need to say anything else, Matt.
I'm sorry.
No, there's so much stuff, but yes, as I'm going to highlight a few items that are happening in Boyertown. They're pretty much the same things Adrian just said, but the one thing that I found to be very interesting that's happening this weekend, and I don't know if this is the first weekend or not, but Friday through Sunday there's a Halloween light show in Gilbertsville.
Oh,
Like
neat.
Christmas light shows, where it goes to music and you pull your car up and you turn on a radio station.
Yeah.
Same exact thing,
fun.
but it's for Halloween. I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm going to definitely bring my kids to.
Well, you need to get
Check
us that
this out.
address.
Where is that at?
So that is at Magical Lights on Marissa. It's on Marissa Drive, like near Windlestray.
Oh, I know that
I
every
see.
Wednesday.
Oh,
Look at that. Windlestray.
Yeah.
The whole place.
You go there every Wednesday.
I know the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's up there. You can go to my event blog and I can have
it out.
everything hyperlinked. You can go right to and find out the addresses of these places. But it's this
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 7 to 9:30. Obviously dark hours, but they don't want you to keep the kids up all night or the neighbors up all night. So 7 to 9:30, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's a Halloween light show. Also this Friday, Matt, are you a fan of the Halloween movies? Like Halloween.
So yeah, I've never watched all of them, but
Mhm.
I've seen the original one like
saw
at
the
least a
original
half a dozen times. I kind of lost track of them, but for sure the original one I've seen.
I saw the original one a long time ago, and like when I was, a late teenager or something like that. And I don't know if it didn't catch my interest because I saw all the Nightmare on Elm Streets. I saw all the Friday the 13th and stuff like
Right.
But I only saw the first one of Halloween, so I don't know if it didn't just
Don't
do
have
it for.
something fun.
But man, it's got quite a following because they've been going on for years. I would love to. What
I
funny?
hate scary stuff.
You hate scary
Absolutely hate it.
stuff.
I don't watch any Halloween movies.
No.
Nope. Don't like any of it. And people are like, "How do you do what you do?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's real." So you
Yeah.
know. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, then, Adrian, I don't want you to go to the State Theater this Friday where
won't.
they're going to be showing Halloween Ends. Maybe
I've
it's the
heard about
last
that.
Last one.
I've
yeah.
heard about that. One of them dies.
Okay.
The two that's been fighting the
Oh,
whole
yeah.
time.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes,
and-
and Michael Myers.
So one of them dies.
So
Interesting.
my father was.
So if you don't want to be spoiled, if you don't want to be spoiled, then go Friday night. Watch it at the State Theater so that your friend doesn't tell you on Saturday. I mean,
Yeah. Right.
like who died. Because I think that's going to be important.
I'm not
You'll
worried
be on the
about
edge of your seat the whole
it. I'm
time.
not worried about it one bit.
That's
You're not
what
gonna go.
social media does to movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, not my thing.
Did you want to say something else?
Oh, real quick. So this is a big thing too going on at the Historical Societies. The Mighty Atom. He actually used to be at Zern's. He was
Yes.
a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's on November 13th.
Used to bend stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ben Iron. So that's at the Museum of Historic Vehicles on November 13th. If I don't mention that, Luann might get a little upset. She
Yeah,
loves
so-
the Mighty Atom.
Slim the Hammerman and the Mighty Atom. Like Slim the Hammerman is from Pottstown,
Mm-hmm.
and Slim learned how to do what he did from the Mighty Atom.
He was like his understudy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then when the Mighty Atom died, Slim the Hammerman inherited Mighty Atom's stuff.
Yeah.
And then when Slim the Hammerman died, which is just about a year or two ago, his grandson, Josh Farman, he's a friend of mine,
Mm-hmm.
inherited all the stuff from both the Mighty Atom and Slim the
Is he
Hammerman.
going to be doing that stuff? As
Josh
well?
is not doing that stuff.
Is he going to be a part of the? Do you think he's going to go to the State Theater for this presentation?
I would imagine he's going to be there because that's
It'd
where
be nice to have that stuff
Yeah.
there.
Well, that's where they got the stuff from. They got it from Josh.
Oh, okay.
They got
So
it
it is
from
gonna be,
Slim's
yeah.
family.
So they will have
Yeah, because
some
I
of the
know
stuff
that
there.
they had some memorabilia.
Okay.
And actually, Luann, she had just met with the Mighty Adam's grandson.
That's okay.
That
No,
was-
that's a different guy.
Right, you're talking about.
I'm talking about Slim the Hammerman's grandson. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know all the facts, but I know it's going to be a really a really important event because.
And it is. I mean, I am correct saying it is at the State Theater too, because I was looking.
Yeah, I
at
just
this,
read
right?
that. So
Yeah.
I think they're doing a presentation at the State Theater. I don't know all the details, but it's on the Historical Sites website.
I put a link to it in the chat.
Cool, thank you.
No problem.
I think that would be a really cool thing to see. So people,
Oh, so
You
yes, it's at the
go see
State
it.
Theater, but the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles
Is
partnered
presenting
with
it.
them. Yep.
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, they have the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles has Mighty Adams'
Yes.
van or his cart
His,
that he took.
his
Yeah.
truck. Yep.
Yeah,
His truck.
cool. So much connection.
Boyertown.
Yeah, man.
Parade.
Yeah.
It all starts with the
It all
parade.
starts with the
It does.
parade. He's taking it all back to the parade.
All right. So yeah, State Theater Halloween ends begins on Friday, and so I'm trying to do all this stuff. I'm trying to highlight a couple of items that are happening in town or very near town
Right.
that go with this ghosty theme tonight.
Gotcha.
All right. So this, as you mentioned, Stellar House Gift is having their 1-year anniversary. It's treat yourself. It has the word treat in it, so I figured I could stick it in here.
Sure.
Because they were on
Why
her
not?
show, and and she's great. And she's having a party, basically mimosas, waffles, and DJ Roomba.
They're also watching the show.
Oh,
She
good.
she was in the chat.
Oh, cool.
And they also have Parks and Rec merchandise that they're
She
gonna be
has honestly
highlighting, I
like
guess.
a really cool eclectic.
Yeah, she has
set
crazy
of
stuff.
Things,
Yeah.
like anywhere from the funniest cards. If you need a birthday card, a get well card, an anniversary card, I don't know what kind of cards she has there. She has tons of cards, and they're so funny.
Mhm.
Like I was literally standing there just laughing. Like it was just great reading the
And
cards.
then I'm standing there like, oh my God, she's reading every card.
You weren't even with me.
I'm
But then she has like Parks and Rec. She has stuff from shows that I don't even know because I don't really watch TV. I don't have time. But my daughter quite enjoyed some of the quirky things.
Yeah.
We even got like a gnome that is a self-watering gnome. Like you put it in your planter, but his little pee-pee's hanging out. So you pour the water on him and he just slowly waters your plants for you.
Yeah.
Just very neat, eclectic, like different items. So if you really need like a gift that's unique, go to
yeah,
Stellar House.
for sure. Yeah, I think she brought some show and tell in when she was here, right, Matt? Didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She had a bunch of
Some
stuff
goofy
and
stuff.
talking about different things and just really unique kind of stuff, just
Yeah.
like Adrian just said.
Mhm. Yeah.
Here-
That's a
I
fun
think you
story.
have another. If I ever go down,
Yeah.
dude, I think you
Yeah.
have another
Co-host right
co-host.
there, right?
Yeah,
It's
here's
just
your
like my-
backup co-host.
Or
right here.
or vice versa. Yeah.
I think
Just my 6
You
shot.
got
I'll just be your
hired.
fill-in.
She
You got
already
hired.
did the What's Going Down in Boyertown presentation.
we'll pay you. I'll pay you everything that I make off of the show. I'll give it all to you.
Is that the?
That means nothing.
Does it have one
It
E
means
or
nothing.
3? Like how many E's
It
are
has
we
like
adding to
4
this one?
E's.
Hey, I totally get it. I totally get it.
So another business that we interviewed, AR Workshop in Gilbertsville, they're having a Halloween treat tote workshop, and it's family friendly, so you can
Oh, fun.
bring the whole family and you can make some stuff.
Kids under 10 can go there.
Yes, they're allowed to do that.
So I can go.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're nice. Those are nice people.
Oh,
they had
they're
a
great
lot of
people.
energy, and
Yeah.
we had them on the show as well. In
And-
fact, they're one of the interviews that's highlighted in our opening reel.
That is true.
Mhm.
Yes. As you mentioned, the Colbrookdale Railroad. Not only are they doing their fall foliage rides,
Mhm.
but they're also this week begins their Dark Arts Express, which
Ooh.
is the Harry Potter.
But I'm pretty
train
sure
ride.
it's adults only.
Okay, that might be true. Are you researching
I'm gonna
right now?
research that
All
for
right,
you.
we're going to get folks. We'll get back to you on that. But yeah, so there's you have to go on the Colbrookdale Railroad site. There's several times that they have.
I put a
available.
link to them in the chat. So
Cool.
after the
Make
show,
it
people
easy.
can go back and click on the link to find out more.
And then, of course, on Saturday, the Old Stroll, the Old Soul Stroll. I have trouble saying it. It rolled right off your tongue, Matt.
I practiced all afternoon.
Oh, you did? Okay,
yeah,
good
I
boy.
did. Yeah.
Old
I
Soul
love it.
Stroll.
I love it.
I gotta start practicing more.
I was in here at like 1 o'clock.
Old Soul Stroll.
Yeah,
Old Soul
yeah,
Stroll.
just like reading it over and over again, so I would get it.
The Old Soul Stroll Boyertown is, does their walks every Saturday. Sold out tonight. Sold out this Saturday. I think sold out for the rest of October. But November, there's 2 dates available. Get them now before they're sold out. And then they're going to go for their winter break and then be back in June.
Yeah, we're gonna hibernate.
Yeah.
Make sure that you draw a picture and get a hold of us if you want your picture on our shirts.
Yeah, we'll definitely make sure that we advertise that when you do that.
Yeah, once you get that contest up and running, let us know for sure, and we'll certainly promote it on our Facebook page, and we'll talk about it on Jeff Doe's Boyertown.
And then Sunday, our friends at Ridgewood Winery on Daffodil Hill in Bechtelsville, they are having their Monster Mash Murder Mystery.
Oh, that's
Ooh,
fun.
Did you practice that one, Matt?
I did not.
Okay.
I was
Can you
just
say it 4
Daffodil
times
Hill.
fast?
That's a pretty cool Daffodil Hill.
Yeah.
Never heard of that one.
That's in Bechtelsville.
it's in
It's
Bechtelsville.
right up from where at the corner there where the car wash is.
Township Line Road.
Township Line Road. If you're going north on 100, make a
I'm
right hand.
So, listen,
Yeah,
Don't
Lazy
even-
K.
Yes, it's right next to
I
Lazy
know
K.
where that is. I need
Yeah.
landmarks left and
There you
right.
go.
somewhere.
I know where I'm at. Just I'll give her the direction.
So, but they not only do they have the Monster Mash Murder Mystery going on this Sunday that you can get tickets to, at the same exact time on Sunday, they have a brew fest going on where they're having beer, wine, liquor, and food.
Nice.
Yeah.
Probably
from
all
other-
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.
Not just their own stuff.
You know, I went to a couple of, I've been going out more and more since we're kind of out of the pandemic or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
We know how to survive now.
Yeah.
And I am finding that the bars and restaurants that only have the PA licenses, the stuff is just as good as a full service bar. Like there's so many, here's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
There's so many good PA producers now
Oh,
that
yeah.
you can go to any one of these PA only bars and restaurants and get just as good as drink as if not better
Yeah.
than anything else. Think about all the breweries in Pennsylvania,
There's
the
a lot.
wineries,
So many.
cider. Now we've got a bunch of distillers now.
Yeah.
You
Man-
can
Manatoni
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 Creek's
Distillery,
one of them.
yeah.
Bluebird Distilling in
Mhm.
Phoenixville. There's bunches of them around. That's what I'm saying. Shop local. Like I don't need to go and get a bottle of Seagram's. I can go to Manatoni Stillworks and get a local
And
produced
their liquor
whiskey.
is like a heavier liquor, like it's stronger.
You
Yeah.
think?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
I always find it better to shop locally anyway.
Right.
Make the money in the town.
Exactly.
So that brings us to one of the segues that I wanted to do, just to remind people. The camera might have gone off, but people, you'll still be able to hear us. So stay tuned in.
And we'll wrap things up in a
We
minute.
will in a minute. I always want to give the statistic out as much as I can. When you shop local, 80% of the dollars that you spend local stay in the local community. If you go to the big box store, if you just shop from big box stores, only 40% of those dollars stay in the community. The money that you spend at local shops and local restaurants, local bars, stays in your community and helps your community. So whenever you can, whenever it's convenient, or whenever you're looking for a way to support your neighborhood, shop local,
Right,
eat local,
absolutely.
drink local. It's super important.
Adrian.
Real quick, just to add to that, that's one of the things that that's why I like the other farm so much, the restaurant in town, the other farm,
Mhm.
because they literally are farm to table. Like they support all the local farmers and even the cattle raisers and chickens and even the as far as the distillery, they get a
Right.
lot of their liquors locally and their wines. So they really try to keep as much business within this community as they can. So even though sometimes you might go and think that their prices are a little high, it's really not. It's really just helping keep that money flowing within our own community. And I try to let people know that all the time, that that's why I love going there, is because it really just it's homegrown.
Right.
You don't get homegrown better than literally in your own backyard.
Yeah.
So to me, it's really important to to keep doing
Right.
that and supporting your local restaurants, because they are trying so hard to keep things within the community.
Yeah. And these are the places that sponsor your kids' t-ball team.
Mhm.
They sponsor the soccer team. They're the ones that are donating to the local nonprofits and all that stuff. So it really, really, really does benefit you to support local.
Absolutely.
And
So
real
just-
quick, just sorry not to
Mhm.
cut you off. So that event is all ages. The Dark Arts Express. There was something that I did see that said adults only, but that may have just been like what do they do, like the third Friday or something? That may have been something
Oh, okay.
different.
Yeah, they have
So
like
then
a
I don't-
happy hour
Oh
ride.
yeah, you know what they also, you know, I'm
I
bringing.
think that's what I saw.
They have like the Yingling
Their beer garden.
garden opening up this Friday.
I think that's the stop up there in Colebrookdale.
Is that what that
Yeah,
is?
because they were developing a little recreation stop up there.
Okay.
So I think you get
But
on
I-
the train
I
and then
didn't
it takes you.
understand it as that though, because it's open from 12 to 8.
Okay.
So it's like, it seems like outside guests can come. Is there another way to get there?
I don't know. I
didn't know. I didn't get enough information. I really went on their website and everything, and I didn't get enough information. I was assuming until you said this right now that it was just in their rail yard.
I assumed that it was at the recreation area that they were
So
developing.
Colebrookdale, give us a little more information.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I just want to wrap this up. What's going down in Boyertown is the blog that I do each week. It's on jeffknowsboyertown.com. There's so many events happening that I couldn't even get to. There's a fall festival going on in Boyertown Community Park. There's Izzy Palooza going on.
Oh, yeah.
There's all sorts of
Right.
stuff going on in town. I can't get to it all right now. You have to go to my blog and check it out. And I'm
visit
going to-
Boyertown, PA.
And I'm going to connect with Visit Boyertown, PA, and you're going to be able to find it there too.
We'll co-share.
All right. Sounds good. So that's what I got, Matt.
Matt Green is also the host of Porchcast Pottstown. If you want to learn more about things that are going on in Pottstown, tune in on Thursdays at 6:00. Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate on Facebook, Porchcast Pottstown on YouTube.
What's happening this Thursday?
Tomorrow, we're going to be talking to the YWCA. They have a whole list of programs coming up for the fall, and they're going to let us know what's going on. Most of those programs are free.
Cool.
So we're going to find out more about them. I think we're talking to basically their marketing person who's going to bring us up to speed with all the good stuff that they have going on downtown.
Cool. And our guests, would you like anything to shout out at the end of the show? Anything that we missed?
I just really want to thank everybody for listening to us, and hopefully we'll see you soon. And maybe we do give like a couple little giveaways throughout the week. Sometimes we offer trivia during the tour. We always have one question that we like to ask, and you win a free sticker.
And my son won a free
yes,
sticker.
he did.
Yeah.
Actually, I was really impressed that he was young and knew the answer to that.
He loves history.
That's
so.
awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we just want to have a good time and make this a good time, even though it's, again, like a lot of sad topics, but just to learn and remember and honor those people.
Cool.
And you can check out the Old Soul Stroll website. We have little giveaways too. If you find us at some of the events, you win a free t-shirt.
There you go.
All right.
Look for them.
Absolutely. And then next week we have on the Bear's Den at Fitness Center.
Oh yeah, that's the Shantz,
Yeah.
Jeff Shantz,
Yeah.
and he also is part of the Boyertown Healthy Kids Running Series,
Exactly.
which I am a sponsor of their spring series.
Very good. So we will talk to them next week, and we'll be live at their new fitness center.
There you go. One of my friends from from Pottstown is super excited for that show because that's where she works out.
Cool.
She hit me up on Facebook and said, "Hey, I saw you're going to be going up to
That's
the Bear's Den."
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, so she's amped up for that interview.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week.
Yep. We're the Cast at Glocker.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, tune in Wednesdays at 6:00 on Glocker Real Estate and Insurance. We are on Facebook and YouTube. While you're at our YouTube channel, make sure you check out some of our listing videos that are posted up there. We do an excellent job in presenting your house when it needs to be sold. So hit us up.
All right.
I'm done.
I'm done.
All right, we got a little bit of an outro. I'm going to play that, and that'll be the end of the show. Till next week, everybody. Thanks for
See you then.
tuning in. Don't forget, folks, we really do need you to subscribe on YouTube, share the show out to your friends, and help us spread the word about what's going down in Boyertown. Thanks for tuning in.